Ask people to describe this year's Farm Bureau Distinguished Service Award recipient, and they'll use words like humble, quiet, kind, patient, wise, and encouraging. He's a man of few words, and yet a man of great deeds. And that is what qualifies him for the honor bestowed upon him tonight. Doug Stewart was born in the old home place in Lawrence County, the house where he and his late wife Evelyn raised their two daughters, Peggy and Jane. Doug and Peggy continue to live there today in the five-generation Stewart home. Ask Mr. Doug how he got involved in farming, and he'll tell you he was born into it.
I was born in agriculture.
Like so many young people who reach their teens after growing up on the farm, Mr. Doug thought he had enough of farm life, so he went off to Clemson and said he wasn't coming back. But he did. His dad was a row crop farmer, mostly cotton. In his years on the farm, Mr. Doug grew cotton, soybeans, hogs, and dairy cows. Mr. Doug's the baby of 4 children. That may have something to do with his quiet demeanor. His siblings often got the best of him. In fact, it's told that when Doug was born, his sister said, "I don't want a red-headed brother, send him back." As stories go, there was always something going on around the Stewart house. A small building near the house served the community as what daughter Jane says was the first Walmart type of store in the Owings community.
And then there's this little building there beside it, and that was a general merchandise type store back then. I mean, it had the post office in it, it had a bank in it, it had the dress shop up top, it had like a miniature mini Walmart in it at one time.
During election season, the porch of the Stewart house served as the polling precinct, and in bad weather, the polls were moved into the living room. 1959 and 60 were big years in Mr. Doug's life. In 1959, his brother Rhett talked him into becoming a business partner.
The way I got involved in this was through my brother. He used to work at a milling company, and he decided he wanted to go out on his own. So he run this, and I public worked for 6 years till it could support both of us.
That was the same brother that managed to get him involved in the dairy business and the hog business. Apparently Rhett was a very persuasive big brother.
This dairy come open, and my brother talking about buying it, and he come to the field one morning when I was planting cotton and said, "Doug, will you go in the dairy business with me?" I said, "I don't know, I have to think this over." He said, "Okay." Well, about 2 hours later, he come back and said, "What'd you say?" I said, "I hadn't thought it." He said, "Well, I just want you to tell me you'll take care of the farming end of it." I said, "Buy it." So that's where we got in that.
Rhett's health was bad, and he died at the very young age of 35 in 1967. 1959 was a big year for Mr. Doug for another reason. It seems a local gal at a nearby high school, whom he'd known for about 15 years, was attending the same dance or social one evening. Mr. Doug married Miss Evelyn in December of 1960. They were married 37 years when she passed away in 1997. Around the same time Doug and Miss Evelyn married, an older farmer in the county invited Doug to a gathering of farmers. The group called themselves Farm Bureau. At that time, Mr. Doug was a part-time farmer, growing about 275 acres of cotton. He quickly got involved in the Lawrence County Farm Bureau, but when asked if he was involved in the Young Farmer and Rancher program, he said no.
I never was a young farmer because they said I was too old looking when I joined.
But that didn't stop him from becoming involved, or from assisting and advising other young farmers throughout the years.
Because he's all about trying to get the young people, young farmers. I've seen him take so many under his wing and try to lead them towards having successful careers and doing things that have really blossomed for them.
To learn to crawl before they try to walk. So you can't jump up here and buy everything you want at one time.
Mr. Doug Stewart proudly serves Farm Bureau as the Director at Large from the Piedmont District and as the perennial president of the Lawrence County Farm Bureau. In recent times, Mr. Doug has served as an AFBF voting delegate, chair of the Convention Study Committee, member of the Nominating Committee, and the Legislative Effectiveness Committee. He continues to work the farm, a lighter load now that he sold his dairy operation last spring.
I just made up my mind that that was it. In other words, I've been in it long enough. And I'm not getting any younger, they say.
What's going to keep you from getting back into the dairy business?
Because I sold all my equipment and all my milk cows.
Now he spends his time farming cotton, corn, timber, wheat, and pasture land, in addition to his daily work at the feed and seed store, which he and his brother started in 1959. The Better Services Milling Company and Distributors in the Owings community. Don't let his quiet demeanor fool you, though. Word has it Mr. Doug is a shrewd businessman and runs a highly competitive business.
I've been watching Doug for 20 to 25 years now as a sometimes begrudging competitor in business. Doug and I happen to both be in the farm supply business, and I can tell you, he is a tough businessman. Pillar in the community, though, I think certainly describes Doug Stewart to a T.
Farm Bureau has grown to be an extended part of Doug Stewart's family.
It's a good organization. You got many benefits from it. Meet many friends across the state. And it's the organization that you can be proud of. And it's one of the strongest farm organizations. And they always got some kind of solution to help you with.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the 2008 South Carolina Farm Bureau Distinguished Award recipient, Doug Stewart.